Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have another Schleich Tyrannosaurus Rex to take a look at. Yes, they have quite a few of them out, but we've got a brand new paint variant that they had released not long ago, which I believe was supposed to have been an exclusive to the website. However, I actually purchased this on Amazon, so I guess it's no longer an exclusive, even though it does actually say exclusive over here, but if it is in fact an exclusive, I don't know what it's an exclusive to because it's obviously sold on the Schleich website and on Amazon. But you can see we have a very cool black paint scheme for it this time with some red, and they've been kind of doing this a lot over the last few years when it comes to like re-releasing different figures with this very dark black kind of a color scheme. Like they did it with the old version of the T-Rex, they've done it with this new version of the T-Rex, and they've also done it with the Giganotosaurus recently as well. Obviously all different styles to the paint schemes, but all very similar when it comes to having, again, this very dark look to it. But it looks pretty cool, definitely a neat looking version of the T-Rex, so as always, let's jump to a closer look and check it out from there. So, starting up here at the head sculpt of what is labeled as the Midnight T-Rex from Schleich, you can see we've got, again, the exact same sculpt as the previously released T-Rex, and not just the previously released version. We did have the original greenish version, which was also followed up by a golden version. Both of those I have reviewed on the channel, and again now we have this version, which is the newest variant, the Midnight version. And you can see that obviously we've got a black for the face. There's no other coloration really appearing here in the face of the T-Rex other than black. And then of course a yellow for the eye. You can see a yellow with a black pupil, nice gloss coat to it. The eye actually looks pretty decent, definitely not too sloppy or anything. It's giving off that nice realistic eye shine as well. And of course we do have an articulated jaw. You can see the teeth are as bright white as it gets. They're a little sloppy as far as the paintwork goes, like you can really see on the upper jaw here. In the front, it's definitely a bit sloppy, and the lower jaw as well. But the teeth are, of course, that big, bulky, Schleich-like look, so they don't really look that great to begin with. The paintwork really, I guess, can't harm them too much when they're a little ugly in their own right. But again, we do have a nice reddish tone for the tongue. The tongue itself is actually really nicely sculpted. There's some beautiful fine detail, and I think Schleich figures overall, you know, not all the time, but often are very nicely sculpted when it comes to the fine detail. And in fact, they have some of the most impressive fine detail you'll see anywhere. It's just for some reason the mouth. The mouth has always looked so bad when it comes to the teeth. But again, you also have a very dark, kind of a maroonish tone that you can see here as far as the skin on the inside of the mouth. Looks as though some of the black has kind of run down there onto that area though, as I can see it right there at the top. So a little sloppiness there. And then the opposing side definitely looks a little better over here, less sloppiness there. And then we do have that darker tone for the inside of the mouth as well. So the only area inside the mouth that is not that darker tone would be the red tongue. And it's unfortunate when you look at it from the front because you can see this eye is actually facing us perfectly, looking straight forward. And then we come over here and this eye is actually looking out here to the side somewhere. So now the Rex looks like he's got googly eyes. But you know, even if the eye isn't perfectly in line with the other one, the paintwork of this eye is also nicely done, so I have to give them props as far as that goes. Like, it's placed nicely, there's no sloppiness, and again, that gloss coat looks really good. You can also see there's a bit of a gloss coat added to the nostrils, which is always a fun aspect to any dinosaur figure that I think adds a nice dose of realism. But up here on the top, you can see a little red running along the top of the snout, as well as red up here above the eyes. Now, as we move back here into the body, primarily, we just continue to see that black tone, but we see more of the red pick up here about halfway down the neck and then follow along the back where we have that almost like armored scoot-like appearance for the T-Rex, and then we continue to move along, and that red continues to follow the spinal column as we lead out here into the tail before disappearing as you lead out there toward the tip, a little ways, you know, out from the tip, but it does cover the majority of the tail. Outside of that, as you lead down here into the side, you can see we basically just have the black. There's no color variation that I'm really picking up on when it comes to this figure. There's no alternate tones on the underside of the Rex at all. Like, it would have been cool to see maybe a light gray or something on the underside, but we really don't get anything else outside of the black and red, and then of course the nails do have a gray, kind of actually similar to the tone of gray I would have liked to have seen on the underside. You can see a little sloppiness to the paintwork of the nails, but it's not absolutely terrible. And then you also see the same, gray coloration for the nails down here, and again, definitely some sloppiness, like over here. If my camera would focus on it, you could see that the nail right here, the paint has absolutely run all the way up onto the toe. The dew claw also has that same thing going on, so definitely some sloppiness when it comes to the paintwork of the nails on the feet for sure. But again, that's really about it. I don't see anything else going on with this one when it comes to the coloration outside of what we've already gone over. And even though it's not anything super flashy or crazy impressive, it continues to follow in line with these darker repaints they've been releasing over the last few years. And it is a pretty fun looking version of the T-Rex. So outside of that, there's really not a whole lot going on with the T-Rex. And there's also not really a whole lot that we need to go over when it comes to this version. I did want to get a video up for it because first of all, I just purchased it. It was recently on sale for like 14 bucks or something like that on Amazon, so I thought why not place an order for it. It's a paint variant I don't have, and it normally is a good bit more expensive than that, so I figured I would pick it up. But again, also just because it's a pretty cool looking version of this T-Rex, and I am a pretty big fan of the sculpt of this one, even if it's obviously not an accurate interpretation of a T-Rex. How often do we get accurate dinosaurs from Schleich? It is still a pretty fun looking version, and definitely a figure I am fond of. But since we have reviewed this figure now, this would be the third time, we don't need to do a size, we don't need to do comparisons or any of that stuff because we've done it so many times in the past. If you are interested in seeing more of that kind of stuff, make sure you check out the previous reviews again in my Schleich playlist here on the channel. So this Schleich Midnight T-Rex is a pretty fun figure, but of course it's nothing that's absolutely going to blow anyone away because the paint scheme is nice and basic and simple. It's nothing overly flashy, but it does combine the red and the black like they've been doing lately. And anytime you combine red and black, I think you're going to have a pretty cool looking version of a dinosaur. If you go all the way back to the Kenner Jurassic Park line and you take a look at the Demon Carnotaurus, I feel like that's when it really began. And that figure is probably one of the most popular Jurassic Park toys of all time. And that type of, again, black and red coloration was just so iconic for that dinosaur. It clearly carries over to today, where people are still kind of replicating, in a way, that, coloration to the dinosaurs, because we have Schleich now doing it actually quite a few times, giving us, again, different dark black dinosaurs with some red sprinkled in. Again, giving it that almost, Demon Carnotaurus vibe, but obviously this time it's the T-Rex that gets the treatment, and it's the newer version of the T-Rex, not the older version, which the older version that they have out when it comes to the black version they have released is also still available, I believe. I thought it was like a limited time thing, and still available now, actually quite a few years after its release. But this version, again, it's a pretty cool one. The sculpt is fantastic on this. Like I said, not accurate to what a T-Rex should look like, but it is really highly detailed and does sport that almost classic Schleich sort of a look. So if you are a fan of Schleich and their products, you're probably going to like the appearance of this T-Rex. And it's definitely another neat looking figure from them. Nice walking pose for it as well. But of course, the only thing really new to this one would be the paint scheme, and even though it's nothing overly flashy or too intricate, it's still pretty cool looking, again, just because they have used the reds and blacks so nicely together. The only area of sloppiness really with it would be the teeth and the nails, and when they go into sloppiness, they really do go all out, because the nails look pretty bad, and the teeth also look pretty bad as far as the paintwork goes. I mean, the teeth look pretty bad in general because of the bulkiness of the sculpt, but it's not that bad. Like, the teeth look okay. It's just kind of what we're used to when it comes to the teeth of a Schleich figure, and since they make them mostly for kids, I understand why they would have that sort of a look so nobody gets hurt on it. It's understandable. It's just kind of something that I think takes away from the Schleich figures from time to time is the bulkiness of the teeth, but the teeth on this one don't look absolutely horrible, I guess. It's just the paintwork of the teeth that really does look bad. But overall, it is another fun repaint from Schleich, and definitely a figure that if you are a Schleich collector, I would recommend grabbing. So if you are interested, I will include a link in the description to where I purchased mine on Amazon. I don't know if it's still on sale or not, but, it may be, who knows. Either way, I will include that link in the description so you can grab it if you want it, and also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.